Welcome to the Business and Bubbly podcast. This is the place for women in business who are on the journey of building their big ideas and want to have fun along the way. It's for those of us who also know we aren't meant to do business or life alone. Hi, I'm Charity Majors, your host and the founder of Business and Bubbly. Think of this kind of like the can I pick your brain chats that you've always wanted to have with those who are doing epic things, plus business besties, hype girls, and getting into massive action towards your next big idea all in the same place. Oh, and bubbles, because if you're not having fun along the way, you're not doing it right. Together, we'll unlock what it means to be seen, known, heard, and championed all along the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and being a woman in business building big dreams. Each week, I'll bring you a quick sip business tip, as well as interviews from top experts that make you feel like you're getting bottle service for your business. We're having the raw and real conversations and chatting about all the things, the messy middle, the pivots, scaling, the good days and the bad days, because here we do real. It's where we can work hard, play hard, cry it out, and dance it out all at the same time without being judged. This is a place where we are in the arena together and we are each other's biggest fans because most of us have enough comments from the cheap seats. It's where our too much is par for the course and where the gaps of our not enough are filled in by the other epic women that are around us. It's where we can be unapologetic about the mission we are on, about the big dreams on our heart, and the business we are building without having to be perfect or have it all together, or even pretend to. It's a supportive community where business is being done amongst like-minded women, because when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. It's a place where you have the support around you to get out of your comfort zone and go after your big ideas, because even when you fail forward or when you reach the top, you know it won't be alone. Also, if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm obsessed with creating platforms that lift up other women to be seen and heard and known. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite you to list your business on our directory called Find Women in Business. All you've got to do is text the word directory to 833-231-8098, and I'll text you the link back to get your free listing. This is also a great way to connect with other women in business from around the world, so definitely check it out. And now let's get to the good stuff. Grab a glass of your favorite beverage, Prosecco, bubbly water, or whatever your flavor is, and let's dive in. Are you with me? Here we go. Welcome to the podcast. I can't wait for you guys to hear this next episode. I'm honored to talk and to share and to connect with Marley Baird. She is a video branding expert and works with businesses to position them as an industry leader and influencer in their field. You guys, in this episode, we talk a little bit about Marley's backstory, but we dive right into what it means to work with your spouse and to create those boundaries of putting, your spouse hat on compared to your coworker hat on. We talk about allowing space for creativity, and we dive right into what Marley does best. She has this awesome training and teaching masterclass. It's called 60 Days of Content. She goes over strategies of how to plan for things as well as batch record your content so that you are able to get things out quicker. You're able to be more efficient with your time and how to generate leads 24/7. Marley's expertise is in producing rapid content, generating leads on autopilot 24/7, warming up cold audiences, and lowering ad costs, all from utilizing engaging video content. Marley's work has attracted the attention of Fortune 100 companies such as Macy's and Microsoft, who offered 5-figure sponsorship deals to her clients. How fun is that, you guys?
We also chat in this episode about the difference between, yes, the live video, which is amazing, right? IGTV, Facebook Live, compared to the power of YouTube, which is a search engine. And with Marley's background in social media, with Facebook advertising and event management, she used to produce events with best-selling authors and celebrities such as Gary Vaynerchuk, Seth Golden, Randy Zuckerberg, Robin Sharma, and more. Now, unlike most proclaimed video marketing experts, she doesn't focus on just one medium. She teaches her clients how to share their video content on multiple mediums for maximum and rapid exposure and traction. Your business should have systems that work for you. Like I talked about, the YouTube strategies that she had that allows people to create leads 24/7. So if your business wants Google and YouTube rankings, thousands of leads, viral videos, and massive email lists, and the next level revenue, Marley's strategies do just that. I can't wait for you guys to check out this episode and make sure that you check out the show notes to grab Marley's training that she has offered, the free masterclass, the 60 days to batching content at 60daysofcontent.com. And if you guys want to check out the strategies that I have learned from Marley, make sure you head over to getunshakableconfidence.com and get my free video training course on how to grow your confidence, which is really the foundation of whatever it is that you want to level up in your life, whether it is your business, whether it is your relationships, whether it's your finances, whether it's your brand, whether it's your influence. It's all got to start with this mindset of confidence. And I walk you guys through this great step-by-step on how to increase your confidence. So head over to getunshakableconfidence.com and make sure that you grab notes for this episode. You are going to learn a ton. Thanks, guys. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the show. Again, I'm super excited to be spending a few moments with you and to get you to know this amazing individual. You guys heard all of the great stuff that she is doing and how she is helping entrepreneurs and companies all over the world when it comes to building leads 24/7, building their influence, building their brand. And this woman, Marley, she is such a light and so fun to not only be in her Facebook group, in her social momentum, because you guys, I binge listen and watch all the things that she's doing. And have her course. So I wanted to make sure to just bring this gem onto the show so that you guys can know a lot about what goes on behind the scenes. So Marley, thank you again so much for being on the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for such kind words. The feeling is so mutual. Every time I'm around you, I'm just like, you are so fun and so awesome to chat. I mean, we've never met in person, but seeing you online, chatting with you on Facebook Messenger, you are just such an energy that I love to be around.
Oh, thanks so much. And we're like, I have a feeling if we lived close to each other, we'd hang out a lot. I love it. Well, Marley, so obviously everyone heard all the great things that you are doing, but I would love for them to get to know a little bit about you and your backstory. So let's kind of start in the beginning. Like, what got you into this stuff and what were some of the processes or just some of your journey that got you to where you are at now?
The beginning. Well, as a kid, even, I loved stealing my dad's video camera and making little videos throughout my entire high school, university. I always felt like I was meant to do something more. And I bet anyone listening to this is listening to that because they can resonate with that. Like, that is something that every single entrepreneur, every single person that's listening to this has experienced. And that's why they keep searching for that and they never stop. Like, we don't know how to cut that off. So I actually went to school for dental hygiene, cleaning teeth all day, every day. How boring. People don't even like going to the dentist. So it's not that fun working at a dentist.
Right.
And so I was in school for dental, but even while I was in school, I was working at a radio station and I was taking singing lessons and doing a ton of things. I can't sit still. So when I went into dental, I only did dental for 6 months. And then I found this amazing opportunity. And actually they found me from a blog that I was writing online. And I guess they just liked my personality. They're like, come work for us, this event management company. And I didn't know this at the time, how amazing this opportunity was, but it was an event management company that put on events for speakers like Gary Vaynerchuk, Seth Godin, Robin Sharma, like all these huge names, all these people that all their books are on my bookshelf right now. But at the time I was 20 years old and just didn't really know who they were. But it was cool to say, like, I used to be backstage and used to drive them around and get them water and make sure they were all prepped before they went on stage. Like, all these people that are my heroes now. And I used to
Yeah.
take care of them when I was 20 years old. What? So I worked at that company. I then also worked at a company that produced concerts. So we were working with some celebrities and some big names putting on big shows. And that was an amazing experience. But I'm a pretty sensitive person, and that industry has a bit of ego. So
Mm.
I ended up leaving that and wanted to find something more stable while I figured out what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I went back to dental. And while I was working in dental, again, super bored, out of my mind, their IT guy was like, "Oh, sorry, I messed up a part. I gotta back up." But when I was bored, I was doing their social media between patients, and their IT guy was like, "Hey, you're good at this. Can I refer you to another client of mine?" And from there, it became referral, referral, referral until I was making way more money doing these social media side jobs than making money as a dental hygienist. So I was like, do I go all in on this business? What do I do? Well, the answer was kind of made for me when my husband had a dirt biking accident. And he wasn't my husband at the time, he was my fiance. We had 2 months before our wedding. And he was broken. Like, he had both of his arms in casts. He scraped his butt right off, fractured tailbone. He couldn't go into work and is clearly like all cast up. Like, he can hardly move.
Yeah.
My business doubled. So we went all in on the business, and now my husband is still like, he went back to work briefly, but then it just made more sense for him to join me in the business. So we do this together, and we shifted from doing just social media to doing exclusively video marketing because we started getting some social media clients that were local, and I would just go in just for fun and make them some really fun videos, and saw some amazing results from it. I started my own YouTube channel, and a couple of months later was like, holy smokes, how do I have thousands and thousands of views here? So I thought, what if I could recreate this for clients? And that's how we started to create our system and our services that we position influencers as thought leaders using video.
I love that so much. Don't you just love it when sometimes you are in the thing that, right, you were talking about being bored, but all of a sudden there are these little breadcrumbs of clues that are left along the way where it's like, okay, like I should probably follow that clue and I should follow that clue, right? And you might find yourself in this space of being where you're bored, you're unfulfilled, you don't like what you're doing, your potential is not being seen. But it might be the thing that leads to the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I love that so much.
Breadcrumbs.
So what is it? So as someone, if they are listening to this and they are wanting to start to build their brand and start to position themselves as they grow their influence as a thought leader, what are some tips that you would give them?
So especially for people that are listening to this, like, these are the people who feel like they were made for more. They will not be satisfied with content that's just like, hey, happy National Coffee Day. Like, that stuff doesn't change lives. I mean, it's cute and it starts conversations, like, there's nothing wrong with it, but they have that much deeper meaning and deeper purpose. So these are the kind of people that we look inside ourselves every single day and feel like, how can I best serve? How can I best express my creativity, my feelings, my intuition? How do I pull that out of me? And so something that I started doing every single day was just journaling. Like, what's that word? Like, it's free flow, it's stream of consciousness. Like, just the stuff that comes up, you can't even, like, if you sit down intentionally and you're like, okay, I'm going to write something powerful. Sometimes it doesn't come that way. So I really got myself into a routine to create creativity, and a lot of that really is self-care and getting myself into a zone of creativity. So for people that are wondering, how do I make that impact, it's really finding and tapping into your message.
I love that so much. It's so funny. It reminds me of, I wrote in my new book, Meant for More. It's called Meant for More, Igniting Your Purpose in a World That Can Dim Your Light. And there's this section in there where it's like, I feel like like I was alone in the world, like the girl that didn't want to have the surface conversations, right? It's like, I don't want to talk about the weather. I don't want to
Oh,
talk about like, yes, your shoes are cute and I love shoes, don't get me wrong. But like, I want to know about your hopes and your dreams and what lights you up and like where you're going or what your blocks are or who you're surrounding yourself with. Like, right, this consciousness, like, where are you going? Those deeper things. And so I sometimes feel like I'm like this person like all by myself. It's like, hey, like want to be friends and like talk about deep things.
yeah, let's talk about the universe. Let's talk about like what's deep inside you. And sometimes that makes us the black sheep.
Yeah.
But for most of my life, I struggled with being the black sheep. And now I'm like, I'm cool being the black sheep. Sometimes I don't want to fit in.
Totally, totally. I love that so much because I was I've felt that way too, right? It's like I didn't fit in um with the sporty girls because I wore a ribbon in my hair when I played volleyball, but then I was
Mm.
too like sporty for the girly girls, or I was too nerdy for the popular crowd, or that I was too intimidating for the guys, so I never got asked out to homecoming or to prom, right? Which is every girl's dream. So I say like similar to you, like yes, I had friends and I had friend groups, but I felt like I just didn't fit in. And I tried to so many times, right? I tried to pretend to be somebody that I wasn't, put on these different masks. And now it's like, no, like I'm good with like being who I am. And if someone doesn't like that, like, okay, well, have a
Okay.
nice life. Like, love ya.
Totally.
I love it. Um, so I actually do want to touch on this little nugget that you mentioned in your story about working with your spouse.
Yeah.
What are some things that you have learned when it comes to being in business and being close and doing the daily action things, or maybe he's the boss of some things and you're the boss of other things, or someone's the boss of somebody, right? How do you make that work, and draw the boundaries and the lines between like, okay, it's date night and we're not talking about business tonight, or yeah, just let's just chat a little bit about being
Yeah.
in business with your spouse.
Yeah, I love chatting about this because it's such a curious topic. A lot of people are asking about it, and we actually, my best friend Rachel Peterson and I, we created a Facebook group and a community called Breadwinning Women because there are so many women that we meet that are the breadwinners of their family and they don't know how to navigate that because there's society that asks, well, what do you mean? Like, what does your husband do? What do you mean that you make more money than him? Or what do you mean that your husband, some of them are stay-at-home dads, or the house husband. My husband is part of the business, but it is primarily driven by me. But there are so many things that I could not do without him, including just how I function every day. So sometimes people, those external sources might say, well, what does he do? Well, he supports me. And that might be in the business, that might be in making breakfast. Like there's a million things that my husband does, and he loves me and supports me and empowers me for who I am, and I do the same for him. So it's my ambition to start this business, and he was someone that worked in trades before. And when we had this opportunity to say, like, do you want to work with me and like leave the trades, that backbreaking work, I mean, he didn't want to do that for the rest of his life. So he came into the business, and it did take us some time to figure out, how do we navigate this? How do we communicate as husband and wife and also as business partners? And it took a shift of understanding when to put on the spouse hat and when to put on the coworker hat, and to also hold each other accountable in the same way that you would with a colleague. That it's, if a coworker said to you, I'm just going to skip today and go shopping, that doesn't work in a corporate environment. And
Right.
you need to have the same respect and accountability that you would in both situations. But that said, there's also a lot of perks that come with working from home and being with your spouse, that we get to wake up together every day, we get to have breakfast, we get to like take breaks throughout the day if we need to and have lunch together. So it's an awesome benefit. And to build your life together and build a business it's something I'm so honored to do. But at the same time, it's something that I'm willing to put in the work. Like, same thing with a marriage, you got to show up every day. And even more so when you are choosing to work together, is communicating, knowing that you have this dynamic.
Yeah, I love that. So what are some tips that you would have, maybe if there is someone here that is listening that they are in business with their spouse? What are some tips that you would have better communication and boundaries when it comes to the spouse hat and when it comes to the coworker hat?
Yeah, we have offices on different floors. Not that
Nice.
that's a big deal, but we have the space when we need it. Something that my husband had to learn was if he comes into the office and thinks that like we can just have a conversation, if I'm in the middle of something, it's like I need transition out, and that's kind of a masculine energy to be like so into like single focused into what you're doing. And so he'll come in and be like, "Hey, I just talk to this person and whatever," and I'm like, I just give me 2 minutes, I can't. So we learned how to communicate that way. And also doing a daily alignment, this is something I learned from Alex Sharfin, is really aligning with your spouse on like what's on your plate, where are you winning, where are you uncomfortable, and communicating that way. So every single morning, my husband and I, we kind of have our own time for self-care. Like he goes to the gym, I do a home workout. Sometimes I go to the gym depending on what I do. And I meditate, I journal, and he does his own thing. And then we kind of meet up together before we start our day. Like typically calls and meetings and things like that start at 9 a.m. So before that, we kind of sit down together, review our day. We use Alex Sharfin's momentum planner that maps out everything on your to-do list, your top three, what your intention is for the day, and where you were uncomfortable yesterday. So we just review that with each other so that we know what's on each other's plates so that we can support each other. And even sometimes Wayne has said to me, like, your top three, you have these things on your to-do list. I can take one from you, or maybe you're overestimating what you have time for. Like it's just so good to have that communication and to know what we're both doing and what we're looking at for the day and how we can support each other.
I love that. It's so good. Communication is so key in whatever relationship, right? Whether it's spouse, a coworker, a fellow entrepreneur,
Mhm.
a client, with your kids, like whatever it might be. Communication is so key. And there's so many ways that it can get misinterpreted, right? Our brain fills in the blanks when there is miscommunication. So communication is so key. It's such a great point. So let's chat a little bit about your kind of one of your main projects that you have going on right now, your 60 days of content. And like, this is awesome when it comes to if you are, maybe you're listening and you are a rising influencer, an entrepreneur, you're a content creator. Um, I watched your webinar that you have, and it's at 60daysofcontent.com. Is
Yeah,
that the
60daysofcontent.com. So the full title of it, just to tell everyone, it's 60 days of social media and video content in 8 hours. And to clarify, because someone has asked, they're like, is it an 8 hour webinar? No, it's 45 minutes, but it teaches you how to create social media and video content in only 8 hours. Because I'm sure you've experienced this, I've experienced this, where we spend so much time trying to film videos, trying to create content. And it feels overwhelming how much time it can take, and it doesn't have to. So I teach you my system for how we streamline everything, we batch film it, even the processes within our team, or if you are doing it by yourself, just makes it so much faster, more efficient, and also content that makes more of an impact.
Okay, I love this. Let's chat some more about this. So, give us some of the strategies when it comes to the 60 days of content in 8 hours. Because I think that so many times, I know, and our right with our right and our left brain, it's very
Mhm.
different to go from like the planning and the strategy to then maybe you're scripting it out and you're gonna, if depending on where you're at in your business, if you're outsourcing, if you are doing it yourself, and then compared to the creative process of things where you are teaching or you're inspiring or you're doing the content creation, it's completely different sides of your brain. And if you're trying to go back and forth and do one thing and then do one video or one blog post, and then you're trying to do the editing, and then you're trying to do all the logistical side of things, it takes so much longer instead of you getting into flow
Mhm.
and busting out all this content. So give us some of maybe your best practices or your tips that you have when it comes to batching, not only strategizing content, but then batching it.
I used to spend an entire Sunday filming one video. I'd wake up Sunday morning and be like, I want to put out a like every Sunday, it's video day. Okay, what am I gonna make a video for? And I would think about the video, and then I would start to write it out, and I would script it and or make it in point form. And then I would set up my camera, and then I would start filming. And I also didn't have a process or a format for how I'd film. So I'd just film it and then be like, I don't think I like that cut. I'll do it again. And so I'd film it like so many different times, which now I teach a format that you can film it in. So you film it in sections, and like, what section is what. So it's streamlined. And then I would edit it, and editing takes so long. And especially when you're not filming with the editing in mind, the editing is going to take so much longer too. And then I would finally finish it, and it would be evening, and then I'd finally post it. And I wasted my entire Sunday. And Sundays for me now are family days. So that's probably the most important time that I want to spend with my family, but I spent it filming and creating one video. But now we have a system that teaches you how to create 60 days of content in 8 hours. So the biggest thing is, like I said, start with creating your content. So coming up with the strategy. What do I want to make videos on? What do I want to post about? And so one of the best ways to think about and decide what kind of content you want to create is look at your audience, look at the frequently asked questions you get, look at people that are in the same space as you, look at what kind of videos they're creating that you could do on a similar or same topic, and make a list. Like, I actually have a Google spreadsheet of tons of ideas that I just get over time, and I just keep adding to them. Because also, when you start to think like that, you open yourself up for more ideas. Because if you think of something, you're like, yeah, I'll remember that. How many times do you actually remember that?
You don't.
It's so many, like, I get ideas when I'm about to fall asleep, and I'm like, no, I'll remember that in the morning. You never do.
Yes.
So when you start to open up your mind to this, to think of, oh, that's a piece of content, that's something I need to write down, like, have a list of notes in your phone, get a Google spreadsheet, something like that, that keeps a running score of all of your ideas that you have, so that when you decide it's batch filming day, which I do a batch filming day once a month, you batch film a lot of content in one day. So for me, it takes me about 10 to 15 minutes per video to film. Now, also that depends on the length of the video. If I'm filming a 15-minute video, it'll probably take me half an hour. But typically for YouTube, I film videos that are like between 6 to 8 to 10 minutes. So then it usually takes me 10 to 15 minutes for that video. So if you're batch filming, how many videos could you get done with that preparation ahead of time of knowing what videos you're filming, knowing the format of the videos you're filming, and then filming in those sections and batch filming once at a time, batch filming all of them at the same time? Because when you warm up in front of the camera, why would you stop? Keep going. Like, how long does it take you to get into flow? And once you do, keep going, keep filming, get that creativity out. And then the videos that you, like the 10th video in, you're just like smooth. You're just going.
I love that. Well, it's so much more efficient too, right? You're not setting up and tearing down and
Yes.
replanning and getting back in the zone each time. I love it. And it's so smart. So if you guys are wanting to get a lot more of this strategy, make sure that you are, and I'll have the link in the show notes, but make sure that you check out the webinar and grab her program if you feel like it's right for you. Because like I said, like I'm a part of another one of Marley's programs, her social momentum, and it's awesome. There's the Google spreadsheets and all the things that will help someone create the momentum that they want socially, so that they can reach more people, so they can help the message get out to more people and help. And obviously the effect of that is then to be able to serve others in a bigger capacity. So I know one of your big things that you talk about is also, especially using YouTube, creating leads 24/7. So let's talk about the magic of YouTube, because yes, like, especially right now, like, IGTV, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, like all of this live video, there's a lot of hype around it. But what I love, and you mentioned this even in your channel and in some of your trainings, but YouTube is the second largest search engine.
That's
Owned by Google, which is the first largest search engine, right? And people tend to not go on Facebook to say, how do I make a YouTube video? Or how do I write a blog? Or how do I start a podcast, right? They're on there to see their friends. So let's chat about how you use YouTube to create this audience that allows you to bring in leads even while you sleep. 24/7, the leads get to come in. So let's chat about that.
Whether you're working that day or not. Like, I can take the day off and my email list still grew, and then they went into my nurturing sequences, and then they maybe checked out my products and services and sales just come in. Like, how amazing is that? It's like hiring a salesperson to go out and do the work for you and they don't sleep. How amazing is that? So, what I did, and it was an accident when I first started it. One of the most popular questions I got was like, how do I put text on an image, or how do I edit an image? I don't have Photoshop. And so I'm like, I know this amazing software called Canva. It's
Yeah.
totally free. And so I make a little Canva tutorial on YouTube because I get so many people that ask me. This was October of 2016. I make this video and I post it up there. And within a couple months, I happen to get like all these emails, because when someone will comment on the video, I'll get an email. And I'm like, cool, like people like the video. And I go back and check on my YouTube channel and it has 25,000 views.
Nice.
And now it has like 170,000. At the time that we're talking about this, it grows exponentially. And I posted that in October of 2016 and haven't touched it since. So I see this video that's getting more traction and likes and comments and views all the time. And I'm like, how did that happen? Well, it's because I ranked it without knowing. And then I also did take some YouTube courses and found out how to rank it better. So putting in like the search terms, the tags, keyword optimization, and found that it was getting even more views after I did that. But again, I have not touched this video other than that little optimization once I saw that, oh my gosh, it's getting tons of views. So because that video, like people are searching on Google all the time, Canva tutorial, how to use Canva, or free graphic design software. And my video is ranking for terms like that. So when they Google that and they see a video, they click on the video, they watch my video, and then here's what you need to do to generate leads from this. Have you ever seen in a video, someone will say, click the link below to get my free whatever. It's like a checklist or a PDF or a guide or an ebook. It's something that's completely free that you can automate, so that they put in their email, your email automatically sends it to them. So then I added a lead magnet to it. And unfortunately at the time I didn't say in the video, click the link below, because that was not my intention when I filmed it. But I still do have it at the top of the description so people see it and people do sign up for it. But since then, now every single video has a lead magnet. So if I'm talking about Instagram, I'm saying click the link below to get how to get more followers on Instagram. If I'm talking about finding your messaging, I'm saying click the link below to get my free thought leader handbook. So people are signing up for these things all the time. I have videos that are being put out every single week. So there's opportunities all the time for people to find these videos. And the difference is that on Facebook, like you said, people are going there to hang out with their friends. When you post a video or any kind of piece of content on Facebook, its lifespan goes downhill very quickly.
Right.
On YouTube, it's a search engine. People are looking for content all the time. And also with the ability to show up in suggested search based on what other people are looking for, or just your ranking, your ability to be good at search engine optimization, you're able to, those videos, like they don't die. Like I said, that Canva video was posted October of 2016 and is one of my most popular videos and gets over 1,500 organic views per week.
So awesome. I love it when that happens. And it's so funny because I actually have a video like that as well. And I didn't even know, like you, like the SEO stuff and like the call to action in the video, like click and get my free whatever thing, my lead generation. And I didn't know. And I posted a video of October of last year. So it's been like just a year and it has like over 130,000 views. And I'm like, dang, okay, like how could I optimize this and have people like get my coaching program and whatever it might be. So isn't that so funny? So it's like, now we know. I love it. Well, Marley, I know that this has been such amazing content. I know the listeners are going to love geeking out on not only your YouTube channel and maybe even jump into social momentum like where I'm at with you. And so I actually want to chat a little bit about social momentum and what you are doing with that program. Because you guys, there is so much great content, not only with YouTube, but with Facebook, with ads, with copywriting. It's this hefty, incredible, like tons of content resource. And it's so fun to be a part of. The Facebook group is a blast. You're present in there all the time. So let's chat a little bit about what you're doing with social momentum.
Oh, thank you. Well, it was my first baby, and I love it a lot. But it's funny you bringing that up. Some things are changing. As you know, being in the program, it is very video focused because that's my expertise. So the name may be changing. We're still making some decisions, but because it's very video focused, I really want to make sure that people understand that and that we're also attracting the right audience. So there may be some changes coming soon, but either way, you can still get more information about it on my website, marleybairdmedia.com, or check out the 60 Days of Content webinar. It's 60daysofcontent.com, and it'll give you tangible tools that you can take away just from that webinar. Like, people watch that webinar and will build their businesses from that. Like, you don't need to purchase anything, although you do get way more access and support if you do. But that webinar is 45 minutes of pure class. Like, it's not just a webinar. You know those webinars where you go on and they tell their sob story for like 20 minutes and then they give you like a little nugget, but they don't give you the whole information, and they're like, but buy this thing. Like, it's 45 minutes of a master class of training. So treat it as a training.
Totally. I know you say like, okay, get your like notebook out. You're going to want to take notes. And and it's a great webinar. Like, that's not full of the sob story, which, yes, the backstory is important.
I tell my story. Yeah. But it's like, you know, because you need to know where I'm coming from, that I lived this, I had this pain point. So I get where you're coming from. And this is why I created this. So yes, there's like 4 minutes of me explaining my story, but then it's, you know, the next 45 minutes of tip 1, tip 2, tip 3, here's how to implement this, here's how to hire for this. Like, it's all in there.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Marley, thank you so much for your time. I'm super excited that we got to spend a little bit of time together. Just the information that you gave is so valuable for listeners to start to build their brand, to start to know the possibilities of and the difference between live video compared to YouTube, how to batch the content. This was just such a great episode. Do you have any final closing thoughts that you would like to say to the audience before we head out?
I touched on this at the beginning, just about being someone that feels like they were made for more. I've felt that dull ache for a lot of my life when I felt like I wasn't living in my purpose and trying to find it. And like I said at the beginning, one of the biggest things that I can tell you is just to really do that soul searching, look deep inside you, find what your message is. And when you really come from a place of wanting to serve and wanting to make an impact, things will fall into place so much easier for you. And there are Facebook groups and communities like Charity has to support you along the way. And if there's any way I can support as well, I'm here for you.
So awesome. All right, girlfriend. Well, thank you so much. You guys, I'll make sure to have the links to get a hold of Marley and to check out her 60 Days of Content and marleybairdmedia.com. So make sure that you check those out. Binge watch her on YouTube. She's got great content out there. Make sure to find her on social media, follow her, shoot her a message, let her know that you found her from the podcast. We always love those mutual connections and just lifting each other up. So Marley, thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope it brought some value and some fun into your business and life. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and even share the episode with a fellow business bestie who you know will love it. It helps us continue to attract top-level guests and reach more and more women who are on their journey in business just like you. Remember that when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. Cheers to your success.